Hello, everyone. News Channel 3 Chief Meteorologist Keith Thompson here with a Facebook Live update. We are now doing our storm coverage here on our YouTube Live channel and also on our Facebook Live channel as well. So on our YouTube page and also on our Facebook page, on both of those going live here from the studio. I'm going to be joined here soon by meteorologist Will Haney. We're going to go over some of the storm threats that we have here. And of course, right now, we have a tornado watch that's in effect for much of the area. You see right now, what you're looking at here is live Doppler radar, and you see those thunderstorms that are quickly approaching the lakeshore. Pretty much right on schedule. I'm just sharing this on my News Channel 3 page. There we go. And so you can see those thunderstorms right now as they approach the lakeshore, getting closer and closer. We're going to zoom in just a little bit here. This is a huge line of thunderstorms that extends all the way back into the southern Lake Michigan and beyond, actually into northwest Illinois and northeast Illinois as well. And again, we have a tornado watch that's in effect for much of the area. It's everybody except our southern border counties here, and that goes until 3 o'clock in the morning.
What's up?
This Will is here. Meteorologist Will Haney is here.
Hello, everybody.
So we are monitoring here these storms. Looks like there could be a severe thunderstorm warning coming up for Ottawa County here soon. So something that we're going to keep an eye on here. So this is going to be something that we're watching as well.
What's up?
Check that out. So, you know, another thing that we're watching here is that the conditions seem to be getting more and more conducive for even the development, perhaps, of some tornadoes.
This is going to be fun for a second.
Yeah,
I'm going to sit down here, everybody.
There you go.
That's perfect.
How we're going to do that.
Okay.
So,
sounds like a new warning is probably coming very
anytime.
shortly.
Yeah, anytime.
And it sounds like it's going to be Ottawa County northward.
Yeah. So
for this feature right here. And let's check out the rotation within this. So again, we're looking at greens and reds closer together. That bright surging area of bright green is probably the most concerning area of wind. But there could be these little tiny areas of embedded rotation. Yep. Yeah. So we're already starting to see that. That would be kind of headed for possibly Grand Haven, somewhere around kind of that northern Ottawa County, possibly southern Muskegon County area near the lakeshore.
Yeah, I definitely think if you're in the Grand Haven area north to Muskegon, you certainly need to pay special attention to this as it continues to move off.
Yeah. And we still have some time. You know, it's not going to be here in 5 minutes. But we wanted to get on here just to provide that early update as far as what we can expect through the later portion of the evening. This pocket of wind, though, is definitely concerning. These storms are moving, by the way, at about 40 based on the track I put on them a little earlier. I'll put them right around like 42 miles per hour, which would put it in the Grand Haven area, you know, right around 10. Norton Shores just after Fruitport around 10:10. I have no idea what Hatfield is, but our map pinged that. So, you know, right around 10 p.m., probably that line arriving at the lakeshore. I need to share this to my page, Keith, so feel free.
Yeah, so especially mindful of that area that Will was noting there. Even if there does not end up being rotation that translates to the lakeshore there, that's going to be one heck of a surge of wind there, a blast of wind.
For sure.
And so, you know, with these thunderstorms, it'll be interesting to see, by the way, when this severe thunderstorm warning comes out, if it's going to just be your not generic, but sort of the lower end, or if it's going to be the medium or the upper end. I forgot what the two categories are now.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Mason, Muskegon, Oceana, Ottawa counties that goes through 10:45 for hail size of 3/4 inch, but more importantly, wind speeds up to 70. So that's not quite the SIG.
Yeah, it's not the destructive.
Or the destructive.
I forgot what the middle one is, to be honest.
Here, it's right here, if we want to look at it really
there
quick.
We go.
So
Will on it with the graphics.
Let's see. So it's considerable, not quite the destructive, which is what we saw with that high-end event. When was that? In March?
Yeah.
That significant line of storms. We were seeing destructive tags in the warnings. So this is a considerable damage with the potential for some pretty strong winds. Do you want me to go coordinate?
I was going to say.
Okay, so Keith is going to step away just for a moment because he has to go coordinate with our control room to do a little quick cut in for TV. But this is, right on schedule. This is scheduled through, by the way, 10:45. So for some of our lakeshore counties, Ottawa, Muskegon County, Oceana County, I would say between about 10 o'clock and 10:45, this line is going to blow through with the potential for 70+ mile per hour gusts. Tornado threat is, not highlighted just yet, but it is something we'll have to monitor as these storms continue to move inland. These storms did produce tornadoes out in Wisconsin, so they have that history, and there's also a decent amount of shear still in the atmosphere. The other thing I will highlight, and this is something the National Weather Service has been monitoring very closely, sort of the southern edge of some of these storm clusters is certainly an area of interest if we were going to kind of hone in on a possible main area of concern for tornadoes. It would be especially kind of farther south. I would say, this line that extends across southern open waters of Lake Michigan, we're going to have to monitor that especially closely for the threat of tornadoes as well into the later evening. Our window of opportunity is essentially starting now through about probably midnight, maybe 12:30 at the latest. We did have a watch that was rolled out a little earlier. We provided an update earlier on for the tornado watch that was rolled out. But as I've noted here, if you're in Berry and Cass, St. Joe, or Branch counties, I don't want you to be like, oh, we're in the clear. We're good. We're not in the watch. There's still a very real likelihood that you will be added in within the hour or so. The National Weather Service just said a little farther south, there's still a little bit more uncertainty. But I think given that the storms have really kind of fired out over the lake, I would say if I was leaning one way or the other, I think it's more likely we see some counties added than you escape the watch entirely. That's just my take on it. But I want to just emphasize, if you're in those southern border counties, this doesn't mean you're like, oh, I'm in the clear necessarily. It's a good sign, but I still want you paying attention between now and about midnight for this potential round of strong to severe storms. If we were going to look at the latest hour by hour here, I'll go back in time just briefly. So that's essentially right now. It's kind of jumped ahead a little bit, it looks like. But I would say between now and about 11 p.m. or midnight or so, things look to really roll on through here. So Keith, are you pretty close?
25:46.
Okay, cool. So Keith is just like I said, coordinating off camera so we can provide an update on the air as well. We're going to be live streaming throughout the entire night. So as warnings are issued, you're going to be able to find us here. Our general protocol is severe thunderstorm warnings, unless they're at that destructive tag of 80+ mile an hour. We're not generally going to stay wall to wall, as we call it, where we're on continuously on TV. We will be, though, streaming throughout the evening. So you can check your Facebook, check on YouTube as well. 25:55. All right. I'm just going to share this to my page, and we'll be good. And do you need anything specifically? I was just going to have radar, and then I can show the watch.
Yeah, I would say radar with the warning box.
And then I can zoom in.
Zoom in
okay.
And give me the watch. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Do you want to be on camera?
Yeah.
Okay.
So can you hear me in there, Jim?
Gosh.
Yeah.
I love our building on the first hot day. I feel like it's always very warm in this building. I'm already sweating, and it's our first warning of the night. It's going to be a long night. All right. Keith and I will be streaming all mornings throughout the evening. Okay. Okay, so we're just, like I said, everybody doing a little coordinating behind the scenes right now. But right now, the only warning that we have is for Ottawa, Muskegon, Oceana counties. These storms are probably going to hit within the next, I would say, I think my 10 p.m. time also might have been a little delayed because we have this new kind of flank that's formed out ahead of that main line. But some of the strongest winds that I was seeing, perhaps closer to 10. That area of bright bluish green right there, I can possibly, I was going to do that just now.
I need to get the upgraded radar scope.
I mean, that's velocity 89 miles an hour. Granted, that's pretty far from the radar, so your beam is hitting a little high. But still, I mean, 65 plus, 70 plus.
Well, it's warned for 70, right? So that
Yeah.
makes sense. That makes sense.
So those are some really intense winds out over the lake.
Got about 3 minutes.
Okay. This is a slightly different velocity. This accounts for storm motion, so it kind of erases the storm and how it's moving, which kind of helps with sometimes depicting different areas of rotation. And a little farther north, there's just these little areas that we'll just have to watch into the later evening.
Is Eric still in there? Can Eric make sure that down
So
there,
no tornado warnings right now. We just have
notice
this
that we have that severe
severe thunderstorm warning. And also she can pull it from my
Hannah
socials
can pull it from.
if she
Yeah,
needs
I
it.
told her that earlier today. I told her to be monitoring your Twitter. Huh?
Okay.
What's that? Just ask him to call Hannah and make sure that she knows that we have that warning. That's that severe thunderstorm warning. That she can pull it off of Will's Twitter page if she needs to.
We're
She
Facebook.
just wanted to be alert to whenever there are warnings, and we're not in touch with her. Thank you. 2 minutes.
All right. Do you want me to pull up the Grand Haven cam?
I'm not sure if it looks good.
Let's see. Yeah, I can't really see anything.
That's cool.
Forgot it's dark now.
That's all right.
I mean, other than lightning.
Yeah, so we're going to come out. We're going to be on cam. We're going to open on cam graphics.
Okay.
So we're going to have warnings, and then we're going to, right?
Here, I can. Do you want that raw look at like warning? So here's what I'll do. I'll
Yeah.
have radar.
Got a minute. Yes, 2555. Okay, cool. Thanks.
I'll have it ready. Hold on.
So we're going to end up with this, and then we're going to go with this, right?
Yeah.
Just
Do you
those
want
two.
the watch
Yeah.
at
just-
the end? Okay.
Yeah, the watch at the end. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Okay, hold on. You don't need the warnings without radar. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna strip away this at first, and
Okay,
then
you got
you'll
30.
do it. I'll go. I got it. All right. There you go. Okay. So look at the lightning counter. That's absurd.
That is absurd.
So it'll zoom in, it'll
Okay.
pop up, and then you got watch.
Okay, cool. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, 15.
Behind the scenes. All right.
10 seconds. Hello, everyone. Chief Meteorologist Keith Thompson with a weather alert for you. We have severe thunderstorm warning issued by the National Weather Service. And you can see Ottawa, Muskegon, Oceana counties all included in that warning. We're looking at live Doppler radar. Check out those lightning strikes there. And you can see that as a very high number there. As the storms now are approaching the lakeshore, they're going to be moving on at any time. Here's the latest on that warning. This from the National Weather Service. They're talking about wind gusts here that could be up to 70 miles per hour, up to 70 miles per hour. This could cause considerable damage. So this is that level 2, if you will, of a severe thunderstorm warning. So again, we're looking at Ottawa, Muskegon, Oceana counties under a severe thunderstorm warning, and that goes until 10:45. And that's going to be for these thunderstorms that have intense lightning and could have wind gusts of up to 70 miles per hour. Remember, just about all of us under a tornado watch. That goes until 3 o'clock in the morning. And we are looking out for our southern counties there that could be added to an additional watch later on tonight that would extend into Indiana. So again, a tornado watch for much of the area until 3 a.m., but a severe thunderstorm warning for possible considerable damage with 70 mile per hour gusts possible for Ottawa, Muskegon, Oceana counties. That goes until 10:45. Just a reminder, we are streaming live on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook channel. I'm joined by meteorologist Will Haney there. But for now, we're going to send you back to CBS. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
You
You good?
Yeah.
I'm gonna run get another fridge real quick. So are you good for like 10 seconds?
Yeah. No, I'm okay.
Why?
You need some water.
I need to hydrate.
Go get this man some water. All right. Looks like now, Keith, some warnings are popping for Northwest Indiana as well.
Okay.
Which again, I'm surprised we haven't seen that watch, to be honest.
Totally different.
Anyways, so we still, okay, let's see. It's not quite at the lakeshore yet. What I was noting to Keith, though, right before he went on air, is check out our lightning counter. So in the top left, it's pretty small on your screen and device probably, but you know, that takes into lightning strikes within the last 15 minutes in the scope that I'm looking at now. So just within the last 15 minutes, there's been 1,500 lightning strikes within the box that we're looking at. Eric, do you need something pressing right now?
No.
Okay, cool. So just a remarkable amount of lightning, if nothing else. But usually when you start to see lightning strikes of that magnitude, we're talking about a pretty intense storm. There's a lot of energy that's fueling these thunderstorms tonight. And you see that time and time again with some of these really, intense storms that they have these just crazy off the charts number of lightning strikes. So yes, now with the scope that we're looking at, 1,700 lightning strikes within the last 15 minutes. So, that really speaks to just how intense these storms are going to be as they roll in. And again, we can look at specifically wind speeds here, and brighter colors are not good. So these brighter greenish blue colors that you're seeing there kind of surge across the lake. That is that greatest threat of some 70 plus mile per hour winds. That's going to be taking dead aim at, I would say, Grand Haven, Spring Lake, up towards Muskegon, right along US 31. I would say even Port Sheldon included in that, possibly Holland, but probably to the north of Holland. This area of, again, intense wind is what I'm talking about. That's going to be our greatest threat of possibly some larger trees being brought down, outages, and things of that nature. This would include Fruitport as well. I would also be taking this seriously if you're in Allendale, Coopersville. So good portion of Ottawa County and Muskegon County included, of course, in this severe thunderstorm warning. And also north as well, up towards Pentwater, technically in the severe thunderstorm warning. Although I will say I don't see as intensive winds up there. It's still certainly possible we could have some 60 plus mile an hour winds. But I would say the most concerning area is this right here that we're looking at. And sometimes with this slight bow shape as well, that is definitely concerning. That's like a pool of really intense wind that's just surging within that big cluster of storms. So it could start to rain, perhaps. You might start to see a little bit of lightning, but the main core of wind is right behind the leading edge, actually, which is kind of interesting. So you may start to see a little rain, and then it'll be like that rain intensifies, and the wind will really pick up as
Also,
well.
I don't know if you can hit the live cam and go to source 2 on that.
Okay,
because I have the silver sides up from Muskegon looking up to the west just to see if maybe we can see a little of that light.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that banner. Sorry.
Hold on. USS Silver Sides. I'll just say that. All right. So Keith's pulled up a camera. Yeah, there's the lightning. So this is Muskegon.
It's not a very wide shot. Don't we have on a pull down? Don't we have a Muskegon cam over there?
We do, but it's one of
great,
those.
yes.
Yeah.
All
I mean,
right.
that's still pretty impressive. Grand Haven would probably be showing some of that lightning big time.
Oh yeah, sure. Oh,
Here, throw that into full screen down there. Hit that. Hold on one second. We're pulling up a live feed, everybody, of Grand Haven. Let's see. This is courtesy. I'm not going to worry about it, but this is
from
Earth Cam. So this will just give us a sense of that lightning. Of course, when I take it, it was just flashing.
It'll flash. It's got to flash, right? We have 2,000 every 15 minutes.
Could also potentially hide that banner, which would help. Let's see if there's anything in the chat, Keith, just for our purposes.
Yeah, I can't use max.
Increasingly concerned, strong winds over the lake west of Ottawa County. It's exactly what we were just talking about. that cluster of really strong winds. Oh, tornado watch issued. So just as we thought, it looks like now the Indiana bordering counties have been added. It just hasn't populated quite yet in our system. It will any second. So
You see the lightning, by the way, there in Grand Haven. Again, this is a live view from EarthCam.
I'm surprised it hasn't.
This is looking to the northwest. Yeah,
That's weird that it hasn't populated. Let's see.
got some bolt there. 3 of them did, but not all 4.
There we go. Oh, man. Let's see. Okay, that's intentional, it looks like.
Another curiosity.
Okay. That is interesting. Okay, but I'm going to go check our bug and make sure that it's populated. Just give me 1 second, everybody. So yeah, Berrien, Cass, St. Joe counties all now added. And like before, it goes through 3 a.m. But, you know, what's interesting, that watch, you know, includes our area through 3 a.m., but the core of our technical viewing area will probably be out of the woods closer to like midnight. So I don't want you to think this threat is going to go through the overnight. It's probably going to be, we'll probably, hopefully, be able to give an all clear closer to about, did they just update that warning? We'll probably be able to give it all clear closer to about midnight.
Tornado warning.
Okay, go coordinate.
Tornado warning.
They're going with that.
Muskegon, Ottawa, and Newaygo.
It's because of that cluster. Okay, so we now have a tornado warning for Muskegon, Ottawa, and a portion of Newaygo County. You can see that red polygon there. The reason being is that really intense pocket of wind that they are increasingly concerned with. So that Keith is going to coordinate with our master control and get that on the air. Give me just a second, everybody. I'm going to post a couple things, and we're going to be flying here. All right. So once we're wall to wall, everybody as well, they're going to change our feed a little bit on the stream, I think.
Let me see if they know downstairs.
They should. We talked about it,
Okay, cool.
so we should be good to go. All right. Did you, are we going on? Okay.
Can you hear me in there, Jim?
You want to be at the wall?
Yeah, you want to go?
I need it.
Huh?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, well, we're going wall to wall, so.
Yep. I'll be good.
They know that there's a tornado warning, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So if you want to, if you're talking to Kelly, or if Kelly can hear me, and Will is going to be mic'd up on 2.
Yep.
I'm not going to have the clicker, so you drive whatever, and I'll talk about whatever you put up. Tornado warning, do you know what time, how late it goes?
It goes through. Hold on, why is it not populating? Oh. Hold on, Keith.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're good.
The reason these people are not.
Tornado warning through 10:15.
10:15, and
It's pretty short.
That is for northern Ottawa,
Yep, includes Grand Haven, Muskegon.
southwest Newaygo.
Yep.
All right, are you ready?
Give me like 15 seconds.
15 seconds, we'll be ready.
Okay.
Will, I think you heard me, Will is going to be on whether 2 might go to 2 ISP. Okay. Can you hear that? Can you hear that?
Yep.
Okay. South, right? What? Who's in Grand Haven? Oh yeah, we've got the Earth Cam. Yeah. We can. Huh? Yeah. Okay. Oh, do we have? Can you put?
Okay, I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay. Let me pull this out for a second. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, let's go. All right, everybody. Eric, coordinate with them if you can hear me. Tell them to switch the feed on the stream.
Hello everyone, News Channel 3 Chief Meteorologist Keith Thompson here with a live weather update here. And as you can see, we have a tornado warning that is now been issued by the National Weather Service. As we get in just a little bit closer to show you what we're talking about here. This is northern Ottawa County. This is much of Muskegon County and southwest Newaygo County. Tornado warning that goes until 10:15. It is radar indicated here. But as we watch this area of thunderstorms, we've been watching this, by the way, on our YouTube and Facebook channels here. And this cluster right here, you can see this, this blue that you have is an area of strong wind that is pushing out ahead of these thunderstorms. And within that, there is the possibility, for example, of a notch or two showing that the potential is there, radar indicated, for a tornado. That being the case, if you are in the Grand Haven area, certainly if you're in Muskegon, you should be taking cover. You should be getting to a tornado-safe place as this continues to race off to the northeast. This is moving at about 55 miles per hour, which means there's not a lot of time left before this makes it to the lakeshore. So again, sorry to be a little bit repetitive here, but just for those who are tuning in, we have a tornado warning that has been issued until 10:15, and this is for northern Ottawa County right here, including Grand Haven and Spring Lake. Certainly the Muskegon area and places in between, up and down US 31 there. As you can see, we have Muskegon and Fruitport and Coopersville there along I-19 or I-96 there in northern Ottawa County. And then as it moves over here into Newaygo County, we're talking about Sparta and Algoma. So this is going to continue moving off to the northeast. So once again, if you're in these communities that you see that are labeled here, but certainly if you were in Grand Haven, if you're in Spring Lake, if you're in Muskegon, if you're between those communities along US 31, and then even north of Muskegon up to around Dalton there, you need to be taking cover. And again, it's for this area of thunderstorms right here, some very strong winds. They were already warned for a severe thunderstorm with wind gusts of 70 miles per hour possible, and that could cause some considerable damage. But now, the potential is there, radar indicated that there could be some rotation. And so that's why the National Weather Service is out with a tornado warning. We're double teaming this storms here with Will Haney, who was also tracking this as well. Will, do you have any?
Yeah, Keith, I just wanted to provide an additional update that now Allegan and Van Buren counties are now included in a severe thunderstorm warning. So Allegan, Van Buren counties, and Keith, this one is for hail potentially up to 1 3/4 inches. So just shy of 2-inch diameter hail. And also for that tag of wind speeds of 70 miles per hour. So considerable damage is going to be possible as these storms continue to move inland along the shoreline. You can see Van Buren, Allegan counties, and then up into Ottawa County and Muskegon County, where we do have that tornado warning highlighted there in the red polygon. If you're in that red polygon, even though this is a radar indicated potential area of rotation, we want you in your safe place. So Grand Haven is going to be hitting any second. Muskegon any second as well, and then extending farther east through portions of northern Ottawa County out towards Coopersville. We want you taking this seriously, as Keith was highlighting a little earlier, and you can see some of the other locations included as well.
Ravenna for sure, and then moving up here in southwest Newaygo County as well. You need to be taking cover here. And by the way, even apart from the radar indicated tornado, there are winds that are expected to be at or above 70 miles per hour here. That could cause considerable damage. It's making it to the lakeshore right now.
Yeah, any second.
That area right there, this blue that we see, is where there's going to be some intense wind. Grand Haven, you're about to get hit with some very strong wind. It's going to go all the way down to just about Port Sheldon. But the concern is that within this area right here, that there could be some rotation. And that's why there's a tornado warning right now for this particular area. So just a reminder, if you are, again, if you are north of, let's say, Port Sheldon, if you're near Grand Haven, all the way up to Muskegon, and up to Dalton there on US 31, east into Crockery Township, into Ravenna, into Coopersville, and then into southwest Newaygo County. That's where you need to be taking cover. You need to be heading to a tornado safe place. It's a radar indicated tornado, but as Will mentioned, there are going to be winds that could be up to 70 miles per hour, maybe greater, and that could cause some considerable damage. So we've got our eye on that as well, as Will continues to monitor reports coming out of there too.
Yeah, the camera in Grand Haven is shaking a good amount right now. It can't really make out much just because it's nighttime, other than some lightning flashes. But I can tell it's the wind is definitely picking up within the last couple minutes.
So again, if you're in that tornado warned area, you need to be taking cover right now. That is a large part of Muskegon County, northern part of Ottawa County, including Grand Haven, including Spring Lake, right on up to Muskegon, and then inland into Ravenna, and inland into Coopersville there along I-96 in northern Ottawa County, all the way into southwest Newaygo County here. These are the areas that you need to be taking cover. Now, if you're here in Ottawa County south of that tornado warning, so if you're in Holland, south to South Haven, if you're inland to Allegan, if you're in Van Buren County, you need to keep an eye on these storms too, because you have a severe thunderstorm warning. And this too has the considerable damage tag, which means that there could be winds of up to or exceeding 70 miles per hour. Will has a report.
Yeah, so Keith, just one thing that caught my eye. There's a cell offshore of kind of the Douglas Saugatuck area right now that is exhibiting a little bit of rotation for sure. This dark red right in the center of the screen there. And not only could that be some possible hail, but when I switch this over to storm relative velocity, you're going to see it here. So this is still well out over Lake Michigan, but it's moving towards the shoreline. And it's that bright green and red right in the center of your screen right there that I'm talking about. And that, I think if that continues, we'll likely see a tornado warning issued for that as this storm continues to march farther east. If I were to put a track on that just for some advanced warning purposes, that specific area is also likely to be tracking east-northeast at about 55 miles an hour. So just a potential area of rotation moving towards Saugatuck right around 10 p.m. You can see Heath Township around 10:15. Monterey, is it Monterey, Keith? Monterey Township. And then
Kent County, Byron.
Yeah, eventually Byron Center area, Kentwood, Caledonia as well. So that's just all locations that you're not under a tornado warning right now, but there's an area of rotation and just kind of giving you an idea of when these storms, some of the worst of it, could be pushing in. That definitely jumped off the page a little bit at me, and also just this really intense wind that's just going to be pummeling Grand Haven, as we speak.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you are in northern Ottawa County, extending I-96 all the way over to Coopersville, if you're north to Fruitport, if you're in Ravenna, if you're in Muskegon, if you're in Dalton, if you're inland in Muskegon County, there all the way to southwest Newaygo County, if you're in those areas at all, then you need to be taking cover because you're under a tornado warning. This warning has another 30 minutes to go.
Yep.
Again, it's radar indicated, but even apart from that, those strong winds that we're showing you could be up to an excess of 70 miles per hour. But again, a tornado warning from northern Ottawa, most of Muskegon County, and southwest Newaygo County. It's radar indicated.
Allegan County is activating tornado sirens, their outdoor warning sirens, according to their emergency manager. So that's interesting. There's not technically a tornado warning in Allegan County right now. You are under a severe thunderstorm warning, Allegan County. That includes Van Buren County as well through 11 p.m. But I would think they're probably also monitoring exactly what we were just talking about, that potential area of rotation. If that holds, I would be shocked if we didn't see a tornado warning.
Yeah, exactly. They're probably trying to get out ahead. Also, a severe thunderstorm warning with a considerable damage tag as well.
Yes.
But again, of immediate concern right now is this blast of wind that is coming with these thunderstorms moving onshore right now from Grand Haven and Spring Lake north to Muskegon. And there's possible rotation here. It's radar indicated, but that's why we're on the air right now. A tornado warning until 10:15, and that is for northern Ottawa County. That does include Coopersville. It does include Spring Lake and Grand Haven, and it moves all the way up into Muskegon County, including Muskegon, Ravenna, and also southwest Newaygo County included.
I also want to just highlight a little bit before we came on the air with some of these warnings. We did get an update to the tornado watch just in case. We've had some folks kind of checking in throughout the evening. So Cass, St. Joseph counties, you are technically now included in the tornado watch. That was something we were highlighting earlier. They went out with an initial kind of iteration of the tornado watch that didn't include some of those counties, but you have since been added. So we just want to make that very clear. But everyone in West Michigan tonight, our window of opportunity is now through about midnight, maybe a little after midnight. Now, I know the watch goes through 3 a.m. We think that we'll hopefully be able to give an all clear closer to midnight, if not a little bit after. So that is something to hopefully some promise there. But what we continue to monitor is just this insane line of storms. Look at the lightning strikes. In this scale, within the last 15 minutes, we're pinging over 2,500 strikes of lightning, and a majority of those likely cloud to ground. So if nothing else, I mean, this is a potent wind threat, obviously a tornado threat as well for Muskegon, Ottawa counties and portions of Newaygo County. But I mean, this lightning alone is enough to definitely warrant concern.
Yeah, and so if you are in Muskegon County, again, just to remind you, if you're just tuning in right now, you are likely under a tornado warning. Certainly Muskegon down to Spring Lake and Grand Haven, northern Ottawa County here. This is I-96. This runs over to Coopersville and then runs up into southwestmost Newaygo County. You can see this is radar indicated. Very strong winds are right now moving on the lakeshore, on the Grand Haven and Muskegon, and even apart from the potential of rotation, there are likely to be winds here of 70 plus miles per hour, and that could cause some considerable damage.
Keith, I also just want to mention this cell out ahead of the main line. Sometimes we have to be really cautious of those because they're kind of able to reap the benefits of their environment, kind of absent from some of those other thunderstorms. So what I'm referencing is the storm right in the center of your screen. So we've seen this new cell fire ahead of the main line, which is when they're, like I said, we call that a discrete thunderstorm. It means it's by itself. That is starting to exhibit some rotation as well, and you'll see it here. It's faint, but just within the last couple of scans, there is some rotation within that.
Southeast wind you were talking about earlier, that inflow coming right in.
Exactly. Yeah, it's still kind of, I guess, untouched by some of the outflow from some of those thunderstorms. So that's something else we're just going to have to monitor. But again, if you're in Allegan County or Van Buren County, you need to be taking these storms seriously because you're already in that severe thunderstorm warning. And I would be inside, away from windows. If you live in a home with like mature trees, I would play it safe and be in your basement as well, just to, out of an abundance of caution. With the severe thunderstorm warning, it's always good, especially when we're talking 70 plus mile per hour winds.
And also with this cell too, this cluster here moving in, hail that could be 1 3/4 inches in diameter.
Yeah.
So that can definitely do some damage as well. So again, if you are in Muskegon County, if you are in northern Ottawa County here, you have a tornado warning. That's why we're on the air right now, is because in this area you need to be taking shelter, as the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning. We are, by the way, monitoring updates and reports that come from the National Weather Service and also from the emergency management officials that are in those areas, just to see if we can get any eyes on anything or any reports. That's what we'll have right now.
Yeah, so they're prepping a updated warning for portions of Kent and southern Newaygo with the destructive tag, Keith, it sounds like. So they're going to update the warning with the wording of 80 plus mile per hour winds now, which would be similar to that widespread wind event that we saw back in March.
Yeah.
So that's as high as a threshold as they will go for a severe thunderstorm warning.
So 80 plus mile per hour winds could be headed your way there. That's going to be around Kent City. That's going to be around Cedar Springs. It's going to be around Sand Lake in northern Kent County here. This is US 131. And then moving over to around the Newaygo area and then in southeast Newaygo County as well.
And the main core continues to just be this pocket that you see there in the tornado warning area, right through Grand Haven right now, up towards Muskegon. That's what they're referencing. And really quickly, I can turn off a few of these boxes, Keith, and I'll be able to actually query some of this data just out of curiosity. Now, granted, this is decently far. I mean, look at that velocity. 89 is what it's pinging on radar. Now, granted, it's a little far from radar, so sometimes these are detecting wind speeds a little bit aloft, but I mean, still, there's only a few times I've seen 80 plus 90, nearing 90 mile an hour wind speeds there.
These are very serious winds. So that's why if you're in Coopersville right now, regardless, you're under a tornado warning. But even without that, you're still going to be looking at some very strong winds, perhaps even destructive winds that are going to be marching right down I-96. Any traffic on I-96 right now, it's going to be very tough.
You don't want to be driving in this. And the thing I always hammer home with severe thunderstorm warnings in general, but especially when we start talking about these high-end 80 plus mile an hour severe thunderstorm warnings, treat that just like you would a tornado. Why? Because a low-end tornado, might even just have wind speeds 70 miles an hour. So we're talking about a widespread swath of kind of low-end tornado strength winds. And it can honestly do more widespread damage than a tornado often. Exactly. So that's why I would just be practicing your tornado precautions if you're in really any of these these warnings, and it looks like some new warnings just popped. So
all of Kent County now included, all of Newaygo County that is not under the tornado warning is now under the severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 11:15. Mm-hmm. And there's that tag, 80 mile per hour winds.
Yeah.
80 mile per hour winds. Think about that. 80 mile per hour winds with the severe thunderstorm warning. So this is taking aim at the northern half, certainly, of Kent County, but even downtown Grand Rapids is included in this severe thunderstorm warning.
Looks like they haven't added any farther south just yet.
But these are for considerable damage. 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts here.
Yep.
And then we still have that tornado warning going for another 23 minutes here, 22 minutes, and that's going to be for Muskegon, Newaygo, and northern Ottawa County. So we got an eye on that one. But as Will said, even apart from that, this is a destructive tornado, or destructive severe thunderstorm warning tag that is put on these thunderstorms that are now headed into northern Kent County. That's the one that we've been tracking since out over the lake, and it is racing to the east at 55. So that means that you're not going to have a lot of time here with that moving to the east at 55 miles per hour. There's not a lot of time left to prepare to get to your safe spot. So certainly, if you are in Algoma Township, if you were in Kent City, if you were in Cedar Springs, if you were in Sand Lake, US 131 here, perhaps even as far south as Rockford, to the north of Grand Rapids, and extending all the way then up M37 into Newaygo County around Croton Dam, Newaygo, you need to be taking cover if you're in this area. Here it is, and you can see this is really intense stuff. Starting to get a little bit of a bow here.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, so that is another indicator of some very strong wind. When we have a bow echo, the wind is literally pushing out here. It's just forcing that air out, and that's a sign of a very strong thunderstorm.
And not to be overlooked as well as these storms farther south, these still have a potent wind risk as well. A lot of lightning is going to be.
Right?
Yeah, it looks like Cass and Berrien were just added. Just for our purposes, Keith, that looks like that warning goes through 11 p.m. That's for wind speeds of 70 miles per hour and hail up to, I think, 1 second.
1 inch in diameter, I believe.
Yeah, that one was 1 inch. These cells kind of in the middle portion of this main line are the main hail producers, whereas farther north, so far we've seen near that tornado warning is some of the most significant wind.
Just want to reiterate here, if you were just tuning in the last few minutes, if you are in Muskegon County, the Muskegon area, if you are over toward Ravenna, if you are south into Grand Haven, certainly Coopersville and Ravenna right now, you need to be getting to a safe spot here. Because even apart from the threat of rotation here, these are very strong winds, And if you're in northern Kent County, if you're in the southern half of Newaygo County, you need to be preparing for some winds that could be up to 80 miles per hour, maybe even greater. And so that is winds that are strong enough to be destructive. So that's why we're on the air right now, is because of this tornado warning that goes until 10:15. So until 10:15, we're monitoring this here. You can see that we'll just put a track on it here. So we're talking about these storms moving into Allendale, Walker, so the northwest side of GR, and then moving into Belding there as they move to the northeast side of GR, all coming up here in the next 45 minutes or so. Of course, it's to be determined whether it will maintain the strength. But so far, I don't think this has shown any sign of weakening as it races to the east. And that's why the National Weather Service has issued that severe thunderstorm warning with the destructive tag on it for Kent County and also for Newaygo County. That's what you see here in orange. But it's this bowing area that we have right here that's the real concern, which, by the way, that's where that tornado warning is, where there could be some rotation going on. There could be a notch or two here that's causing a problem. But it's this bow here that's shooting out from the storm that is going to be causing some significant wind damage with these winds that are racing off, or these storms that are racing off to the east. You can see the tag there. Wind speed 80 miles per hour on that.
Yeah, and it's right at that apex of that bow that we oftentimes see the most intense wind, and that's exactly what we're seeing based on velocity scans within this thunderstorm. Now, Keith, there's not been any new updates as far as any damage or sightings of any possible tornado or anything of that nature. The National Weather Service, again, just mentioning that cell a little farther south in Van Buren and Allegan County looks to be more of a little bit more significant hail producer compared to farther north, but nonetheless, it still has that potential for 70-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah.
Whereas that main core of wind that I see is right now the most concerning is certainly within that tornado warning. I mean, just look at that area of just looks like almost just a big blob that worked its way across Lake Michigan. That's that really intense wind as it just surged through Grand Haven and eventually portions of,
Just on the other side here of the bridge in Grand Haven, US 31, we're talking about Spring Lake here too, moving right over I-96 here and M104 there. And And so as this continues to push off to the east-northeast, it looks like it might just skirt you near Coopersville, or it might give you a direct hit, Coopersville right about here. And then as it continues to move to the northeast, Ravenna, you are in the line of fire as well. And you're within both of you, Coopersville, Ravenna, you're in that tornado warning, and you need to be taking cover. This does extend up to southwest Nuevo County. But again, remember that the National Weather Service has extended a destructive tag thunderstorm warning for Kent County and also in Nuevo County, particularly north of GR. That's what we're looking at. And again, it's this area that you have in blue.
Mm-hmm. And here's just kind of a roundup, a look around the area. You can see all the counties along the lakeshore within our viewing area in some sort of a severe thunderstorm warning. And then the Kent County, all of that area, Nuevo County as well through 11 p.m. And those are the most concerning as far as that destructive wind threat. But then farther south, we still have the potential for 70+ mile-an-hour winds and hailstones nearing the 2-inch mark. Keith, I also want to mention that they do show on the Consumers Energy outage map a few outages cropping up in and around Muskegon and Grand Haven, mostly between the two, which is kind of right where the core of wind worked its way through. The Norton Shores area, for example, there are numerous outages now being reported. The total number of consumers outage, or the customers now out of power, closer to about 13,500 customers affected.
And numbers likely to go up. They have started to shave that tornado warning, by the way.
Oh, it does.
Which does correspond with that area that we're tracking there with our velocity product. As it races to the east, remember, this is moving at 55 miles per hour. And so it's going to be exiting these areas pretty fast as well. And so that tornado warning has already been trimmed, for example, for Muskegon. And it looks like perhaps even all the way down to Grand Haven, right along the lakeshore. Looks like it has been trimmed from those areas, but it is still in effect for the rest of Muskegon County, which is substantially the eastern half of Muskegon County. Coopersville here, like I said, right along the lakeshore now, looks like you've been taken out of that tornado warning. But again, it's this area right here. This is what we're looking at as it races off to the east at 55. So Nuevo, you need to be taking cover. Ravenna, certainly need to be taking cover. You're about to get slammed with some very heavy wind. Allendale, you're outside of the warning area, but you're going to get hit with some very strong winds. And like I said, Coopersville getting it right now. They're along I-96. And by the way, as it trucks down I-96, showed you Walker just a moment ago. Okay, that's right about here. And so it's headed your way there in Walker.
Yeah, some other areas of interest, Moreland, I believe that's a township. And then up towards Casanova, Kent City, some of these locations that were mentioned by Keith, these are all spots that you need to be in your I would treat this as, certainly even if you're in the severe thunderstorm warning across Nuevo or Kent County, I would be treating this like a tornado because there is that potential for 80+ mile-an-hour winds.
Definitely anything here from the southern end of this tornado warning line, which if you extend this to the east, we're talking about Plainfield Township North. And that would include Rockford, that would include Casanova and Kent City and Sand Lake and Cedar Springs, as I've been telling you, right on up US 131. And then also up M37 over toward Nuevo and Croton Dam area too. That's under that tornado warning there right now, so you need to be taking cover in that area as well. This is no surprise. We've been talking about this for at least the last day and a half. And sure enough, these thunderstorms are now blasting right on through. This is, I believe that's the discrete thunderstorm we were looking at a little bit earlier, maybe not as impressive with that inflow.
Not super impressed with it, which is a good thing. And it doesn't look, that rotation really didn't hold together or start to light up the map here, which is a good sign. One thing I have not showed, Keith, so far is any sort of hail, and we can switch over really quickly. Sometimes this takes a second, and sometimes it does a better job, just the computer product that we're using right here. But there you go. Yeah, so that kind of shows you some of the different hail cores that were detected by radar out over the lake, mainly offshore of Holland. You can also switch this over. We'll see how this does to future hail. And it kind of shows you just some different areas of interest. There could be some small hail within that cell that we were just noting in Van Buren and Allegan counties as well. But I think as these continue to move inland, we'll have to keep checking that because the main hail cores haven't quite moved inland just yet within some of these cells farther south.
Just a reminder, we are on the air right now because we do have an active tornado warning. It goes until 10:15, and that covers northern Ottawa County. And then also much of eastern Muskegon County. You can see that tornado warning continues to be trimmed from west to east with the movement of this cell as it's blasting to the east at 55 miles per hour. But you're still under the gun here in Ravenna and Coopersville. You're still under the gun in Newaygo and in southern Newaygo County, southwestern Newaygo County. And by the way, as this storm continues to race to the east, we talked about this earlier, but for those who are just tuning in, with this bow echo here, we're looking at the potential for destructive wind thunderstorms from 80 miles per hour or up from northern Kent County, and then moving also into Newaygo County as well. Just to remind you, we also have a considerable damage tag on the severe thunderstorm warnings right now that are in effect for Van Buren County, for Allegheny County, for Cass County, and for Berrien County. And as these continue to move to the east, Kalamazoo County, Berry, Calhoun, even Branch County and St. Joe County certainly need to be on guard here because these storms are definitely going to be blowing right on through. There you can see Will has that box up. We're talking about not only 70-mile-per-hour winds in Allegheny and Van Buren counties with those warnings, but also the potential there for an 1 3/4 diameter hail.
It looks like Allegan County, they just updated the tornado warning, or they issued a new one entirely, Keith. Yeah, they issued a new one entirely.
Okay, so
So let me switch this over to something a little cleaner, just so we can see it for a second. This is just the new warning. So Holland now included in a tornado warning for, let's see, through 10:45 for Allegan and a portion of Ottawa County. So we're talking about this new polygon.
Saugatuck, Fenville, right along M89, over toward M40, Hamilton, you're in there, as well as Holland, and then right on up I-196 here. So we're talking about Jensen, for example. You're in this tornado warning all the way up to around Port Sheldon, and then moving over here to GR and Kent County, or the west side of GR and the Kent County line here. So this tornado warning, this is radar indicated that it's now the second active tornado warning that we have. I wonder if this is related to that velocity you were looking at over the lake just a few moments ago.
That's what I was just checking, Keith, and I don't think it is. It sounds like it's mainly just this leading edge that's moving in, because they said a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Holland State Park, 7 miles west of downtown Holland, moving east at 40. So this one's a little bit slower moving. Let me switch this over and just see what they're referencing. Oh, hello. You see that, Keith? The big, that bright orange and green is definitely what they're targeting.
I wonder if, I don't know if we have the Tulip City, the wide view camera. I don't know if it's something we can get from.
Might be able to.
From Tube. Can I put this up on Tube?
You can try, yeah. I think it'll work. Yeah, go down there.
I need to be on Max. Can I get Max, or are you on Max?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to be working on this here. We're going to try to get a view from.
Additionally, I'll put a.
I can't take it off, though, right?
No, just don't move things, but you should be able to edit it.
So just hit no.
Yep.
Sorry about this, folks, but
yep.
Okay. So what we're going to try to do here is get a look at Holland, because the storm right now that is warned for is going to be coming in off the lake here. We do have a live view that is courtesy of the city of Holland, and we're going to see if we can see anything out of that. I'm sure that we'll see a lot of lightning. Let me see if we can call this up real quick, and then we'll be able to put this up for you.
So Holland, right around 10:18 is when I foresee a possible area of rotation moving through. So this is right, aiming right for Holland, right along I-196 as well, and eventually spreading into most likely southern Kent County. But currently the tornado warning including a northern portion of Allegan and a southern portion of Ottawa County. So that's again, brand new warning as of just a couple moments ago.
Just looking at that Holland camera, there's just a lot of rain and a lot of lightning. That's pretty much all we can see there. These are some very strong winds here that are coming in. There's Max too, and there you can see. I know it's hard to see because the rain's coming down so hard, but look at the lightning. Freaking lightning. There's no doubt wind-blown rain here that is slamming into the camera. So this is the live view right now, looking down on the Holland, where you are under a tornado warning. So if you're in Holland, you need to be getting to your safe place right now. If you're in Saugatuck, you need to be getting to your safe place. There they move the camera.
Wow, that was helpful.
It's intense lightning.
We'll definitely want to keep checking that, Keith, in the next few minutes. This area of rotation, to me, is that red in green right there.
Yeah, that's the partnership. There you go. Yeah.
Yep. And so this would most likely be kind of towards the north side of Holland, as I see it, as it is tracking east. It's not tracking, farther south. It's going to be pretty much just due east. The latest scan has it essentially right over the shoreline as we speak. So just moments ago. So if you're on, especially the north side of Holland,
north side of Lake Macatawa, for sure, you need to be in your safe spot.
Yeah, we're talking like near Lakewood Boulevard, James Street, Riley Street. That's kind of on the northwest side of Holland. Eventually towards Nelson's Dutch Village and Windmill Island Gardens, would be included in this as well. But anyone in this tornado warning, we want you taking this seriously for sure. There's two now.
You can see into Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
Also into, it's going to be running right along I-196 there, making its way all the way to the border with Kent and Ottawa County. So now we have two active tornado warnings. That's why we're on the air right now. Two active tornado warnings. If you are in northern Ottawa County, if you are in eastern Muskegon County, if you are in southwestern Newaygo County, you should be taking cover. These storms are blasting strong winds that could be up to 80 miles per hour or even greater. And we have a destructive tornado, a destructive thunderstorm tag for Kent County, especially for northern half of Kent County, and also for Newaygo County, for winds that could be up to an excess of 80 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Certainly, if you're in northern Allegheny County, if you're in the southern half of Ottawa County, including Holland, including Saugatuck, then you need to be taking cover, as there could be rotation.
Yeah, right on the southern edge of that bow that we were kind of talking about is sometimes an area you can see these spin up tornadoes. That area of green and red though definitely has our attention, and what I'm referencing is right in the center of your screen right there. That would be indicative of some possible rotation. So we're talking about right here, right near Park Township, as Keith was referencing. This is tracking east at about 40 miles per hour, so this would put a possible area of rotation. This is still radar indicated rotation. We don't have any confirmed reports. I've been scanning from the National Weather Service. No confirmed reports, but that would make sense as this is just moving on land of a tornado so far.
Yeah, that is a pretty decent pattern, pretty decent signature there.
Most definitely.
Especially if it holds for another scan or two. So
it would be crossing 31 probably within the next 5 minutes or so.
So US 31, talk about Windmill Gardens, talk about some of the tulip gardens up there. That's what we're talking about here. So if you're, if that sounds familiar to you,
Yep.
Holland, north of Holland, along US 31, all the way up to almost to Port Sheldon, you've got to be in your
Zealand, especially, you referenced Zealand earlier. Zealand, like you're right in the line of where I possibly see this tornado warning in this rotation area passing, and then eventually I would say crossing I-196 as well. Now is not the time, just in general, folks, with how many severe thunderstorm warnings we have. Now is the time to be sheltering in place at your home. Stay put. This is not the time to run a quick errand if you're in Kalamazoo. I'll just be straight up. Even though Kalamazoo is not under that severe thunderstorm warning, just stay home. These are going to be blowing through here within the next, I would say, 2 hours or so. So you need to take these storms seriously. 70 plus mile per hour winds widespread can still do considerable damage. And as Keith has been referencing, some of these are even warned for wind speeds of over 80 miles per hour. So we want you to just stay home and stay safe and just wait these things out. And if you're in these tornado warning areas, you need to be in your tornado safe place, which means underground, preferably. But if you don't have a basement, away from windows, most interior room, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible.
And the lowest floor you can get to.
Yes.
Two tornado warning that had the destructive tag on it is for Kent and Newaygo counties. Kent and Newaygo counties. But even the rest of the severe thunderstorm warning for Kent and Newaygo counties with a destructive tag. As well moves us south, what right now is blowing on the South Haven and right over the lakeshore there, that also severe thunderstorm warning with a considerable damage tag of 70 mile per hour wind. So that too, you see those shades of blue, those areas of blue, that's some very strong wind that's moving through. But you see the two red polygons there, the two red boxes. That is where we have two active tornado warnings. One only has 2.5 minutes to go, the one in Muskegon, southwest Newaygo, and northern Ottawa County.
And those winds possibly have come down slightly, but emphasis on slightly. Don't want you to not take it seriously. It looks like, they just extended the tornado warning, it looks like, into northern Kent County, and a portion of Newaygo, and also that's that kind of corner of Montcalm County, right?
Yeah, that's going to be into southwest. We have Newaygo County. That's going to be in the southwest side, I believe, of Costa County. They're moving up from, or Montcalm County. I'm sorry, that's going to be Montcalm County. As we look at this one, I have a hard time seeing the borders there because of the colors that are moving through there. So now we have 3 active tornadoes. Also under a tornado warning, you need to get to a safe place. The lightning is very intense, but it's a very strong winds and the potential for rotation with radar indicated a tornado here that we're looking at.
All right, sorry, we were having some issues with the sound on our Facebook Live and YouTube stream, so I was figuring that out, Keith.
Yeah, now you can see that tornado warning for northern Ottawa and for Muskegon County has been canceled.
Yes.
I'm sorry, it's expired. It's expired. So that one, you're in the clear. There's still some very strong winds in eastern Muskegon County,
Yep.
southwest Newaygo County.
There have been confirmed gust reports of 68 miles per hour in, this one looks like, I'm not exactly sure. They don't say the actual, it's just Lake Michigan shore. Yeah, they don't give an actual location, but 68 miles per hour. I also saw up in Muskegon County earlier, one viewer reported 80 mile an hour winds.
So that is with these storms that are now blasting into southeast Newaygo County, the northern portion of Kent County. So again, Algoma, I think we talked about Casnovian. This is looking to be north of Rockford, but along US 131 there up toward Kent City, up toward Cedar Springs and Sand Lake, and then moving up into southwest Montcalm County as well. If you're in those areas, you need to be in your tornado safe place or your storm safe place. This is still, as you can see, west of US 131, but it is racing in that direction. And I would not want to be driving up and down US 131 with those thunderstorms blow through.
Yeah.
You can see that extends then back into the Holland area as well, where Will just reported that there is a report of a phone.
There is still a little bit of area of rotation, I believe. When I'm looking at just some different radar products, Keith, it would be approaching Zealand pretty much as we speak. If I was pinpointing an area of interest, as I see it, it's right around here, just to the north of downtown Holland, and tracking again for the Zealand area. So that could be kind of where they had that possible funnel cloud spotted.
Well, if you're anywhere in that box, you need to be taking cover, but most
Yep.
notably there toward East Lakewood, over toward Zealand.
Yep.
Certainly if you're on the
Friesland.
north side, yeah, Friesland. If you're on the north side of US 131, you should be taking cover. That would be taking you all the way up to Georgetown, the border there with Kent County.
Yes.
When you see that bright green, there you see the strong wind moving in. Just to remind you, is that a news fit thunderstorm?
That's what I was just
I think it is.
for which.
For for Mason, Muskegon, Michigan, and Ottawa County.
Oh, yeah.
So, that goes until 10:45, but that also has the destructive tag on it with winds of 8.
Maybe they might have just updated the warning.
Yeah. So 2 active tornado warnings right now. There's a lot of people around the air, by the way. 2 active tornado warnings. One, if you're in Holland, you need to be in your safe place. If you're in Saugatuck, you need to be in your safe place. If you're along I-196, between Saugatuck and Douglas, Holland, and the King County line, you need to be in a safe place because there could be rotating winds and some very strong storms. We'll know that Zealand in particular right now, you need to be in your storm safe place. Now, here's the other one that we have.
Yep.
Southeast Nuevo County, and then northern Kent County and southwest Montcalm County. So Nuevo, still under the gun there. Algoma Township, moving right at the US 131 into Montcalm County. If you're in that area, around 57, for example, and 82, you need to be in your safe space there as well. In 37, running up from Kent County and GR up into Nuevo. If you're in that area, you should be taking cover as well.
Yeah, some of the strongest winds just went through Sparta, Kent City. They're going to be headed for Cedar Springs, Sand Lake, up towards Pearson, Howard City, as you mentioned, Keith, Croton, as well. All of those locations are about to get some very strong winds, if nothing else, but you're under that tornado warning for radar indicated area of possible rotation, and also the threat of 70 plus mile per hour winds as well, if not 80 plus mile per hour.
80 mile per hour winds, yeah. How about if we go back down and take a look at what's going on there in Van Buren County? We still have that thunderstorm warning down there.
We do. We should.
So that warning, by the way, is for considerable damage with 70 mile per hour winds or higher with that. That's Allegheny and Van Buren County. That goes until 11 o'clock. So these storms are not what you would call your garden variety severe thunderstorm warnings, which already are intense, but these are even stronger, with some having the considerable damage tag of 70 mile per hour winds and some having the destructive tag of 80 mile per hour winds. I know that right now, if you are in Kalamazoo, I'm looking at our downtown Kalamazoo camera, our Paragon Tower camera looking to the northwest, and lightning is flashing in the sky there. That is a sign of what is heading your way, which, by the way, underscores what Will is saying. This is no time to try to run a quick errand. Just stay home and wait for these things to blow through. But there again, that red area, if you were in Nuevo, if you were along M82, between Nuevo and US 131, you should be in your safe space. If you are along M37, it looks like now that Montcalm County, Mecosta County, north of Mecosta County has just been added there.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to mention that. Mecosta County, it now looks like added to just a severe thunderstorm warning.
Okay.
And let's get the details on
That
that.
does have looks like the
70 mile per hour winds through 11:45.
All right, so the Big Rapids area over for Remus, Wheatland Township, you should be taking cover if you're in that area as well. But 2 active tornado warnings here. Nothing has been confirmed. These are very indicated. But even apart from that, wind gusts 70 to 80 miles per hour are certainly possible with these thunderstorms as they race right up through. And that's why we're on the air right now, and that's why we're letting people know about the danger, the threat that's going on. I don't think that we've gotten any. What about the consumers? I know consumers was like 13,000 without power. You know, when this first lasted through, it was around Muskegon.
Yeah, it's over 30,000 now.
So those numbers are going up.
Mostly Lakeshore, Holland area. There's a pretty large outage northwest of Holland, which was that area of interest for that rotation. A lot near Muskegon County up into Nuevo County as well.
Okay.
So yeah, we've jumped to over 30,000 probably within an hour or so.
And so that is also another sign of those destructive winds that are moving through with these thunderstorms. And this is the northern edge of the storm, which is actually out ahead of areas to the west that are on the southern edge of this. And so this is what is now moving on the lakeshore and moving into Van Buren County. So Waterloo already getting hit with this. Also Hartford now, Decatur, heading your way, Paw Paw at any moment coming through, Allegan looking here too with these thunderstorms that could be having some winds of 70 miles per hour or even greater, 70 miles per hour greater.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's likely we're going to see these warnings just continue to be issued farther east as well. So while Kalamazoo isn't just yet, I would expect that. I would also expect it in Perry County, likewise in most likely St. Joseph County as well. There have been some confirmed reports, it looks like, on just surface observation stations of some 55 to 60 plus. It looks like Grand Haven State Park registered a 54 mile per hour gust, but that only updates every 15 minutes, and that also isn't at the pier, which could have been much stronger.
So the area right now that we're really concerned with here is northern Allegheny County and the southern part of Ottawa County. It does include Holland, it does include Saugatuck, it does include Douglas here. As it moves right on up I-196. So if you're in this area, you need to be taking cover. Again, nothing's confirmed here with this, but these are radar indicated. The same story for northern Kent County, and then also for southeastern Owego County, and now the southwestern part of Montcalm County. And what you see surrounding that in orange is where we have severe thunderstorm warnings that could have winds gusting between 70 and 80 and maybe even 80 plus miles per hour. Of course, there's frequent lightning coming down with this as well. And now, as Will said, as these move to the east, it's only a matter of time until we see these warnings likely extend here into Kalamazoo County and Berry County, perhaps into St. Joe County as they continue to move off to the east. If there's anything good here about what's going on, is that we haven't seen any real signs of rotation that have been at least something that has been notable that we've been watching with these storms as they come off the big lake. So that's a good sign there. But we're going to continue to monitor, because within these severe thunderstorm, these lines of storms that move through, we can sometimes get some spin ups, some quick rotation that's going on. Do you see anything like that?
I don't see anything too classic on velocity based on what I'm looking at on a few different products. I think the most intense wind right now is pushing into Rockford, just north of Grand Rapids. So kind of that apex near Algoma, for example.
131 here from around Alpine Township, Plainfield.
Yep.
131 cuts between here, goes up toward Rockford. Rockford just on the east side of that. And by the way, Rockford with a confirmed tornado from one of the last events that we had. One of the, about 16 tornadoes now? We've had 15, 16 tornadoes, one of them in the Rockford area. As this storm moves off to the east, again along and east of US 131, this is in 57 here near Algoma Township, and then moving up into the southwest, Montcalm County is where we have that tornado warning. If you're in that area, you should be taking cover.
Yes. Yeah, I would say Rockford, Cedar Springs, Sand Lake area, up into Pearson, Howard City, just some of these locations, if I'm mentioning you, some of the most intense wind. I also see it kind of diving a little farther south as well through Plainfield, Charter Township, Northview, and eventually down towards Grand Rapids, Charter Township, which is just northeast of downtown. But yeah, I mean, downtown Grand Rapids as well is going to see the most intense wind out of this within the next probably 5 to 10 minutes, kind of right along that leading edge of green. And even the updated scan now puts it going right into kind of the heart of downtown Grand Rapids as we speak.
So Grand Rapids is about to get hit with some strong winds. And then we follow this off to the southwest. I don't know if you've seen anything there. And,
I don't see anything too classic, but I think, what you were referencing earlier, Keith, just within the leading edge of this, you can just get these short-lived spin-up style tornadoes. And so they'll sometimes issue just for kind of a broad area with the chance of just one of those tornadoes that sometimes only lasts a radar scan or two. They can be very short-lived and sometimes even in between radar scans. So that's why they're probably with this tornado warning.
Northern half of Allegheny County, you should be in your tornado safe spot. That is in 40 there, Hamilton, running all the way up to where E40 intersects with I-196. Of course, it's just south of Holland.
There's so much lightning, by the way. I mean, over 2,000 lightning strikes just within the last 15 minutes within the scope we're looking at. So much lightning that I feel like I have to keep turning it off just because it's blocking the radar so much. So,
well, as I mentioned earlier, if you're wondering what's headed your way in Kalamazoo, if you're watching in Kalamazoo, like I said, we're watching the Perry Tower Camp in the northwest. There are lots of flashes of lightning. That's what's headed toward Kalamazoo. And as Will mentioned earlier, as this continues to move to the east, we actually see if there is a severe thunderstorm warning, you'd be surprised if there's not.
yes.
What kind of tag they give it. If this is weakening, or if we're going to see some signs of it getting stronger. I don't know what you're seeing on velocity there.
I don't necessarily see any signs of it weakening considerably, but I also likewise don't see anything intensifying, at least with these storms in Berry and Cass and Van Buren counties right now. Sorry about the color change there. That's because it's detected by a different radar. But right now, just through Ottawa County, those bright greens that you're seeing, that's some really strong wind. Also through Grand Rapids as we're looking a little farther north, and then up into northern Kent, southern Newaygo, portions of Montcalm as well. Within that tornado warning, I mean, those tornado warning areas are of greatest concern, but anyone within these severe thunderstorm warnings, we just want you to be taking these seriously tonight.
These are radar indicated because the folks at the National Weather Service are noting that there could be some signature within the velocity, the returns coming from the radar that indicates that there could be some rotating wind. And that's why they're called radar indicated. Nothing's been, well, there has been one, I think, spotted report of possibly a funnel cloud in the Holland area.
Yeah, also just worth mentioning Montcalm County now, all of Montcalm County included in the severe thunderstorm warning, in addition to that kind of northwestern corner that is in the tornado warning. But it looks like Montcalm is going to go through, hold on, let me see, through midnight.
Okay, and that's also with a considerable damage tag of 70 miles per hour.
Yep.
So you see some of the towns that are there in Montcalm County that we called out a little bit earlier. You know, again, if you're in that tornado warning area, I know it's been going for a little while now, but you need to be taking cover, and that would be in southeastern Newaygo County, northwestern Montcalm County, and northern Kent County. Will was leading up some of those communities there: Pearson, Sand Lake, Cedar Springs, Casnovia, although it looks like I think that might be starting to move to the east of Casnovia. Mm-hmm. Even around Rockford, you should be taking cover, and as Will noted, that is in the tornado warned area, but even just south of that, it looks like some very potent wind.
Yeah.
Is about to blow into downtown Grand Rapids.
Yeah, some of the strongest, the leading edge of the wind just crossed 131 just a few minutes ago. So we're talking kind of along M57 out towards Greenville, for example. There's going to be some strong winds headed your way. We mentioned the Cedar Springs area, but up towards Gowan, I believe it is, or I think it's Gowan Township. Sand Lake area, Trefont. Some of these locations in kind of the northern portion of Kent County definitely want you taking this seriously.
I don't know if we can take the Kalamazoo County from inside the control room there if we can, because that Perry Tower camera is really looking at a lot of lightning there. It's just very impressive. You know, we was talking about the number of lightning strikes.
Yeah, over 2,000, 2,100.
Yeah, and they are definitely on display right now as you're looking northwest.
There you go.
From downtown. There it is.
Wow.
You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It is quite impressive. And so this is what's headed into Kalamazoo soon, with some, no doubt, gusty winds. But of course, lightning, even though it is deadly, does not a severe thunderstorm make. A severe thunderstorm that we're looking at here is mainly the criteria we're concerned with, the strong winds.
Yeah.
Thanks for that view, and I appreciate it very much.
And no updates from the National Weather Service as far as any damage to relay or any confirmed sightings of a tornado or anything of that nature. It's been a little quiet in the last 5 minutes or so there. So,
But we do want to remind you that we are on the air right now because we do have active tornado warnings, two of them. One of them in northern Ottawa County. As you can see there, that is what is shaded in red, northern Ottawa County, the southern half of Ottawa County. There you go. And that goes until 10:45, so that has another 14 minutes to go. It's radar indicated, but there have been, or at least one report of the potential for a funnel cloud that did seem to match up with the velocity product that showed possible rotation. There's the second one. That goes until 10:45 as well. Again, radar indicated, but this is southeastern Newaygo County, including Newaygo. And then also southwestern Montcalm County or western Montcalm County, and then also northern Kent County along US 131, let's say north up into Montcalm County. But these are very strong thunderstorm warnings here. We're talking about considerable damage tags on these. That's for Allegheny County, for Van Buren County, with 70 mile per hour winds possible. And it's also a considerable tag on those severe thunderstorm warnings that are now for Cass and Berry County. So if you're in those areas, Cassopolis, Sawajack, certainly Stevensville, Niles, Benton Harbor, St. Joe, Waterloo moving into Van Buren County, including South Haven, Lawrence, Decatur, and then moving into Allegan as well, Cheshire Township moving up and down US 131, and Otsego, as well as Plainwell there. We showed you that camera shot earlier of the intense lightning, vivid lightning that we're seeing from downtown Kalamazoo, and it is just lighting up the sky. But again, what we're very concerned with right now, 2 active tornado warnings. That's why we're on the air. We have one for northern Allegan County, southern half of Ottawa County, and then another one that covers the southeastern part of Waco County, northern Kent County, and the western section of Montcalm County. Those are 2 tornado warnings that are active right now, and that's why we're on the air. You're wondering, it is because of these tornado warnings.
Yeah, and we still have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings, and now, just seconds ago, it looks like Kalamazoo County added in this severe thunderstorm warning, as well as Berry County, Ionia counties, and we'll get the latest information on those. So as we expected, the warnings have been extended farther east to include more of West Michigan. Let me get an updated look at this. Let's see, it'll refresh. And Berry, Ionia, Kalamazoo, this one goes through midnight for radar indicated wind speeds up to 60 miles per hour. So that is a good sign. So the tag on this one a little weaker than when these storms were moving into Van Buren County, which is that warning for up to 70 mile per hour winds. This one is up to 60 mile per hour winds in Berry, Ionia, and Kalamazoo counties. Also looks like they're trimming the tornado warning slightly, I believe, to just kind of shave off portions that are no longer in the threat.
That tornado warning there now, has that?
Let's see. Sorry.
Box now extended over into southern County.
I am looking at that right now. Oh yes. Okay.
So
Yeah, I was confused. I was thinking that was the northern one.
Yeah, no, that is a big development here.
Yeah.
Really GR south now, tornado warning for southern King County, and that does include a lot of the GR metro area, certainly south of downtown.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, Gaines Township there, we're talking about Byron Center, certainly Granville, moving over toward I-96 there in 37, which would include the airport area.
Yep.
And then all the way down into northern Allegan County, and then also northwestern Berry County, so Middleville, around Thornapple, down to Yankee Springs and Hastings. So we have a tornado warning now for those areas. That's Allegan, Berry, and Kent. That goes until 11:15. It's radar indicated.
Some interesting. Yeah, there's now a little bit more of some couplets I'm seeing there.
Yes.
That would be right on that, I believe, Ottawa County, or no, Allegan County, Kent County line.
Yeah, moving on
near Door.
Yeah, just to the west of US 131.
Talking about this right here. There's also some interesting features in here, a little less clear cut, but that could be why we got now the warning extended and rather quickly. And again, that tornado warning now includes a portion of Allegan County in the Door area into a northwestern portion of Berry County, and then kind of the southern half of Kent County, including the south side of Grand Rapids, down towards Wyoming, for example, and out towards even Ada, now included in this tornado warning. So let me put a track on this. It is moving east at about 45 miles per hour. I'm going to try to do just kind of a broad track just to be a little bit on the safe side. But if I was kind of pinpointing an area of interest, some of these locations that you see there, Caledonia, closer to about 1050, Thornapple Township, I believe, 1053, and then Bone. Do you know?
Yeah, well, and also over to Odessa.
Okay. Yep.
Lake Odessa there, Sunfield, Portland, and Ionia County.
Yeah. After about 11:15 or just around 11:15 for Lake Odessa area, and then Sunfield closer to 11:26, and then the Portland area eventually. While you're not under the tornado warning, we'll just have to see if this continues to be extended farther east.
So again, that is a very large tornado area. So if you are in that area, you need to be taking cover. You need to be going to your safe spot. Right now, as this races off to the east, this is radar indicated.
Yes.
But it's certainly dangerous. It is noted by the National Weather Service. If you are in that area, then you should be taking cover. Continuing to see that
Possible debris signature over Door, which is exactly what we're missing. So let's see.
That's right where you were just looking there.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
See that?
Yep.
That's what they're referencing. So what we're looking at, everybody, right now is our debris detection. What we're looking for here are these little bullseyes. They look like just a little dot right over door. So that is definitely concerning. That would be indicative of rotation, and that matches exactly with that area we were just tracking, Keith. So that could be a sign of a possible tornado on the ground. We'll have to see if that holds for another scan. That would be tracking right for Moline. For Layton, and crossing 131, that could be crossing 131 as we speak, because this radar scan was from a few minutes ago. But that is right in line with that area of possible rotation that we were detecting. So we could have a tornado on the ground right now near Door, crossing 131 shortly in northern, that's still northern and northeastern Allegan County. Yep. Not far from Wayland. Wayland, I want you, just to, out of an abundance of caution, you're in that tornado warning, you need to be in your safe place. But especially towards Layton, I can get some more areas of interest momentarily.
Well, Caledonia Township, you need to probably be on guard for this one. I believe you are actually in the warning area anyway. There's that next scan up there.
Yep, so that's along 142nd Avenue. That's the street that you're seeing east-west, kind of in that intersection. Yeah, that's 142nd Avenue, and then eventually crossing Division Street and headed for the Layton area. But if you live along or near 142nd Street, in and around Door, in northeastern Allegan County, safe place for sure.
Yeah, and if you're in Caledonia, you need to be having a good eye on this because it is.
And it looks like that possible debris signature is advanced towards Moline. So again, these are always going to be like a minute or two kind of delayed. So we got a new scan, and it looks like possibly towards Moline, that area of possible debris right there. And they haven't updated the warning to say radar confirmed or anything like that just yet. But that is definitely something of interest right now.
Is this moving east or east-northeast?
It's east, but I will say the track was a little northeast with that debris signature. So
that's going to put it right on the Kent Allegan County line.
Yeah, so I can try and kind of get an idea. I will say that is a fairly small, very localized debris signature, but because we're so close to the radar, it's not surprising that it would possibly detect that. So let me look at radar really quick, Keith.
While we're doing that, just a reminder, we have that severe tornado warning. That's what we're looking at. If you're in southern half of Kent County, if you're in northeastern Allegan County, if you're in northwestern Berry County, you need to be taking cover.
Yep. And then farther south, just because we probably have some folks that have joined, Kalamazoo County is under a severe thunderstorm warning that goes through midnight, if I'm remembering right. Yeah, Kalamazoo, Ionia, and Berry counties through midnight. And then some of the worst of these storms are rolling through Paw Paw right now, eventually through Matawan very shortly, some of the strongest winds associated with these storms. Allegan is right in the thick of it. And then about to cross 131 in Allegan County towards the, I would say like the D Avenue exit in northern, that's technically in Kalamazoo County, I believe. But yeah, northern Kalamazoo County, all these areas are going to get the most intense wind within the next, I would say, 15 to 20 minutes. But right now, arguably, our biggest concern would be that possible tornado that was just possibly detected by radar near Door. We'll get a little bit of an updated scan here, hopefully within the next few seconds. But yeah, near Moline, what we're looking at on this debris signature is that little almost like bullseye right in the center of your screen.
If it moves east-northeast, it's going to move just to the north of Layton Township, but it's taking aim on you there in Caledonia Township.
Yep, and I'll put a track on this just so we can get an idea in case this maintains its strength.
So on M37 in northern Berry County, as you cross into southern Kent County, as you get into the south suburbs of GR,
Yep.
You certainly need to be in your safe space right now.
Yep, and some of the locations that you see there highlighted would be in the track of what we have detected as a possible tornado, which is Layton at about a minute, Caledonia 10:52, Bone at about 11:02, Carlton at 11:08, and then Lake Odessa area, as we were referencing earlier, closer to about 11:15. So all of these areas, any of these locations, you definitely want to be taking this storm seriously, as we could even possibly have a tornado on the ground. But we're going to have to get an updated scan here in just a second, and we'll see if this maintains its little signature of debris. But again, right in the center of the screen is what we're looking at near Moline. That is crossing Division Street just north of 142nd Avenue, just to the northwest of Layton area.
Yeah, and that's going to be north of Wayland, as well. This is pretty much running right along the Kent Allegheny County line, which is headed toward M37.
Yep.
In northwest Berry County, then crossing over into Kent County. As M37 crosses into Kent County, there heads into Caledonia.
Yes, I would say Caledonia definitely be in your safe place right now. We'll have to just see if this, in an updated scan, looks any more menacing.
By the way, continue to watch the lightning on our Heritage Tower camera. It is just almost constant right now, looking in the northwest. And that's what is headed into downtown Kalamazoo. And again, just a reminder, if you're watching in Kalamazoo right now, we do have this thunderstorm warning. But it's for 60-mile-per-hour wind, which is actually still very strong, still very potent, but it is not as strong as the thunderstorm warnings that we have had earlier.
And Keith, I think we just got a new tornado warning that now includes more of Berry County,
Sure.
Allegan County, and Kent County
Yeah.
through 11:15. So let me just take a wide scope view of what all the warnings are right now. I'm going to switch this over to not look at radar just for a moment. So you can see we still have that tiny little sliver of a tornado warning, by the way, in portions of Montcalm and northwestern Kent County. But zooming in a little bit closer, this is the newest tornado warning that was just added. That does include Hastings and a good portion of Berry County now through 11:15 p.m.
Millville is included in that, right on down
Yep.
to Delton. You'd be included in that along 43, Dunplain Township. Casino there along US 131 would be in that, and Lake Casino would be there. M179, which runs over Yankee Springs and Gun Lake. So the Gun Lake area, if you're in the Gun Lake area, if you're in Gun Lake, you need to be into your safe place right now, because there is a radar indicated tornado that is headed in that vicinity. And so I believe that's our third tornado warning that is active.
Numerous, yeah.
So I wonder if that's what's coming there north of Allen.
Yeah, look at that, Keith. So near Martin right now.
Martin, yeah.
That's an area of rotation right over Martin. That's going to be tracking for Orangeville.
And 222, that's working just to the east of US 131. Working just to the east of US 131.
Yep.
And so that would be along M22, moving to the east there.
Yeah,
That's headed toward the Allegan Berry County line.
Yeah, I'm going to put a track on that momentarily and get some of the latest on this warning. So this storm that was warned in Berry County, again, that tornado warning goes through 11:30. That storm is moving east at 45 as well. So with that in mind, I can track this cell.
While you
And-
track that, by the way, yeah, go ahead and track on it now when it gets fixed, so we have that come in.
Okay.
That's a decent.
That's one of the better ones as far as a more impressive signature of rotation. So Prairieville around 10:56, Hope at 11:02, Johnstown at 11:10, Castleton at 11:20, Bellevue eventually 11:26. So some of these locations again are not technically in the tornado warning, but if this area of rotation does hold, we just like to give you that advance notice of a possible area of rotation.
We do have some damage picks, I think, that have come in from Chime In. I believe that we have some of those. And so we can, there we go. This is lightning here, Teresa Ring, sending that in, Teresa, thanks. Remember, if you can get any pictures to us safely, we'd love to see them. This is from looking over borders. This is a video. That's that vivid lightning I was talking about. Dan Foley, thank you for sending that in. Just almost constant lightning here. And Tasha Krieger here, just 45 minutes ago, some vivid lightning coming with these storms as well. And so we want to remind you to keep those pics coming in on Chime In. Also, I believe we have the consumer's energy outage map that we can get to as well.
Nearing 50,000.
Up to 50,000
Yeah, just about nearing 50,000.
This is obviously going to be a story for tomorrow, and that is power outages.
Hey, Keith, we gotta get back to radar. There's a debris signature right over Martin now.
Yeah,
So,
I see that.
okay, so there's two main areas of concern as I see it. One over Caledonia right now, in just kind of hugging that Kent County line with Berry and Allegan counties as well. That's area of concern number one. Right now, this is definitely lighting up. This green and red near Martin. Martin, there could be a tornado on the ground as we speak. So it looks like, yeah, wow, that's a lot stronger. So I was noticing a little earlier, I was noting up towards Door, that debris signature was small, very small, but still a debris signature. This one is a lot stronger. Orangeville, there's, the area of Orangeville. I'm familiar with that area. This is headed right for you. Circle Pine Center, all of these locations along 118th Avenue, along Lindsay Road, I believe that is, and then Keller Road. If I'm mentioning any of your locations, there is a likely tornado on the ground and doing damage. So, yep, south side of Yankee Springs, out towards Hope. Some of those locations I was referencing a little earlier. So, yep. This is as clear cut of a debris signature as we can get as far as it matching up with that area of rotation as well that we were seeing there near Martin. And so what you'll see is the tornado lofting debris into the air, and that can be depicted by radar. There's this other area of interest, like I said, nearing Caledonia, a little less intense of rotation. I'm going to switch this really quickly over to the debris, and I'm not seeing anything jumping off the page. Earlier, as mentioned, there was a little blip on the radar detected near Door that could have been indicative of a tornado, but that pales in comparison to what we are seeing right now. Again, this is an immediate threat.
If you're in Orangeville, you really have to be, and remember, these scans are a minute or two old. So
Yes, it's probably on top of Orangeville right now.
And it's headed toward Yankee, or just south of Yankee Springs.
Fish Lake area. Anyone in and around Fish Lake, the Mullen Horse Golf Course. If you live near any of these locations, and again, that is Lindsay Road that is approaching in and around the Orangeville area, and eventually Norris Road. Just some of these locations that I'm referencing.
Fairville Township there in 43.
Yep.
As you move between Delton and Hastings, especially as you get close to Hastings, you should be in your safe space here because, as Will has noted, this definitely looks like a pretty decent debris ball, which is indicative of a tornado actually lifting things into the air.
And it looks like that debris signature in the latest scan is, as we suspected, now nearing Orangeville. It's not quite as bright as it once was, so hard to say if it's still on the ground. But we still want you treating it as it is.
Well, and you're in the middle of that tornado warning, so anybody in that tornado warning box.
And the rain, by the way, is hitting Kalamazoo as we listen. Sounds like the wind has picked up considerably as well. So we still have the severe thunderstorm warnings farther south, Kalamazoo County. If you're tuning in from anywhere in Kalamazoo County, no tornado warnings active right now. Still the potential for 60+ mile-an-hour winds. Our primary focus, though, with this main line is that possible tornado on the ground in the Orangeville area.
There's a camera right now, Federal Tower camera. We're watching the good lightning earlier. Now we're watching the heavy rain and the wind blowing rain. We'll continue to track that debris ball there. And that's one of two areas that we've seen. The other one up around Caledonia Town.
Yes.
This one is very concerning around Orangeville.
And
remember, this is moving to the east, so this is going to continue moving towards Circle Pine Center down Keller Road.
Yep.
This is going to be moving on the south side or the goal of the Gun Lake area. So if you're in that area, you definitely need to be
Stewart Lake. Anyone near and around Stewart Lake? I'm just looking at some of the lakes because those are often good reference points.
This now, as you see, the source is going to observe.
Yeah, and that's not surprised. So look at those three scans right there. So that's the track of that possible tornado where it was doing debris. So touches down possibly a little west of Martin area and then progressed. Now, one thing we are seeing as I play this kind of backwards and forwards is you see that it's not quite as distinct, if you will, on the debris signature. So if you think about it, this tornado, may have touched down, lofted some debris, but it's still suspended in the air. So it's hard to say if it's still on the ground. But I would say there's still enough of a debris signature there to warrant concern, and certainly enough of a rotation signature. Look at this, Keith. So there's still very much a couplet there with the green and red approaching Circle Pine Center, as you referenced a little bit earlier. And there's still, not to be overlooked, an area of rotation. I mean, this is also lighting up just a little east of Caledonia. That's going to be crossing. That's hard for me to see.
Whitneyville Avenue.
Yeah, Whitneyville Road.
This is running just south of 84th Street and east of M37. So this is now moving east of Caledonia.
Yes. And now we're getting a new updated debris scan, it sounds like, and looks like. Possibly a little bit of a debris signature east of Caledonia, according to the National Weather Service. I would think it says northeast of Caledonia is what they're seeing. I know it is hard because the radar beam's a little bit more scattered. I can try just one different product over here and see if I can pick it up a little bit better. Oh yeah, it's a little bit more evident on radar scope, Keith. I know I can see what they're talking about. They are referencing this area. Yep. So that would be exactly along 84th, approaching M50, the Bone area, and that is another possible tornado on the ground.
So we have two active tornado warnings, and both of them seem to have some very distinct signatures to them that would indicate that this is still going radar indicated for this one that Will was just talking about. But the one that, as you can see now, is also on the screen, by the way.
Yeah.
And there you can see now.
It's hard to.
So that's what we're looking at. I'm trying to. This area right
This.
here is what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And so this is running right along 84th here. Could move just to the south of Alto here. And so that's why there's a tornado warning here that's radar indicated. Now we go south.
I want to see this.
And see if we can still pick up that.
That's fallen apart a little bit.
Apart.
Definitely not as distinct, but there still could be some fine, particles of debris kind of lofted. But the fact it's not as defined, not as much of that bullseye signature that we saw just a few scans ago. So you can even see it here, right there. That kidney bean, that's clear as day. Between Martin and Orangeville, there was likely a tornado on the ground, possibly lifted. But, I still want, just out of an abundance of caution, I want you to still obviously treat that.
Hastings, for example, over in Castleton here in Johnstown, Assyria Township.
Yeah.
Over here in eastern Berry County, Vermontville and Asheville, you're still in the warning area.
And these storms can sometimes cycle. So sometimes the tornado can drop. We've seen that numerous times, even within the last few events. Sometimes the tornado will drop, it'll lift, but you still have that rotating updraft within the storm. A few minutes later, it can still drop another tornado.
By the way, I don't know if we have any more of the damage pictures or the lightning pictures coming in from Chime In. The rain is intense right now on our Paragon Tower camera. A lot of lightning, a lot of wind in downtown Kalamazoo. As we continue to see those storms now moving right in through the downtown Kalamazoo area. There
Wow.
it is. There's our Paragon Tower camera. The lightning is intense. The wind is strong. And the rain. I'm not hearing any hail.
I'm not either.
So that certainly is a good sign. But I'm trying to see if I can make out the flag there from City Hall. And I can. So there certainly is some wind that's coming through. Very heavy rain here with intense lightning. And this is our Paragon Tower. We want to remind you, we're tracking
Yeah, that's still that cell east of Caledonia. Again, that's going to be nearing Whitneyville Avenue.
Yeah, south of 84th Street.
Yep, and I would say along 92nd Street Southeast, if you live near there, or 84th Street Southeast. Definitely in the track and the path of this possible rotation and possible tornado.
Yeah, very, very.
We just had a power flash, I think. Oh, so we just lost power, but I believe I'm still hearing our mics.
Okay. Well.
Okay, Keith, we're still live on Facebook, but we have no power. Okay, it's coming back. Our secondary generator should be kicking in. So we just lost power, everybody. Okay. Oh my gosh, we are back. Okay, my radar's still good. Okay. Wow. So we just had a pretty significant power flash here at the station. We're hopefully still on air. We're still on live on Facebook and YouTube as well.
So anyway, as you were tracking, two potential areas of rotation. One in southeast Kent County, and the second is going to be.
I would just step over here so you can see.
Oh, yeah.
Our monitors are wigging out because of this power flash right now.
So the second one is the one that is moving near Gun Lake.
Yeah.
The one that came through Orangeville. Looks like that rotation might have started in the vicinity of Martin along US 131 and M2 222, and then moved up to the east.
All right, on the live stream right now, Karen, can you go tell them to try and see if they can pull up the live stream and pull the source from our radar? We might have to reset the live stream. So everybody, bear with us. I know there's no radar. We just had a big power flash, and so we're trying to reset a few things right now. Okay, the computer. Okay. Well, we can still be on our feed right now. I don't know if they can fix the live feed though. That's the struggle. Yeah, working with a few different things. I know we're just a tiny little talking box on our Facebook, but we are still live on the air. I just don't know. I don't know if folks over the air, can they see anything?
That is a very good question. I don't.
Okay,
well,
so
thank you, Kelly.
Can't hear. They can hear us. Can't see anything. So we
see
apologize
but
for
they
that.
can hear us. So you can hear us. Hey.
Okay.
Well, that's better than nothing then. So we can continue to track, and also look, we still warn people in two really sort of distinct tornado warned areas, and each one of them very well may have a tornado on the ground right now.
Yeah. So one exiting the Orangeville area, and is in now Berry County, tracking towards M43.
Yeah, that's going to be just southwest of Hastings.
Yep. And then the secondary area of rotation, very notable, just east of Caledonia. This one possibly with a bit of a debris signature as well. So, that one could be producing a tornado as we speak. That's going to be little south of Lowell on the south side.
Yeah, that's going to be headed toward I-96 as you move east GR and head toward Ionia County.
Yeah,
that is going to be along I-96 there. So that is not a good place to be right now.
No, and I would say that. Let's see if we can. I'm trying to see if our feed as well, our stream, but I don't know.
Our stream is up, right? But just no graphics.
Yeah, we have our stream, everybody, but we're working to try and get the graphics back. So apologies there.
It's a pretty big hit.
Yeah.
There's that. There you
Looks
go.
like, oh man, that's again. Okay, so Podunk.
Yeah, Podunk.
That's a real place.
That is a real place.
Not just saying. Podunk in Berry County. There is a radar signature of lofted debris yet again. So kind of what I was saying, it lost a little bit of its intensity perhaps, but man, that wind and rain outside is very intense.
It is.
But right now, near Schultz, the Podunk area.
We're talking about, is that M43, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So there's a possible tornado on the ground.
So we're talking about near southwest of Hastings here. So there's Schultz, Cedar Creek Road. If you're in that area, Brogan Road, if that sounds familiar. If you are in the vicinity, for example, of Anders Road, then you should be taking cover. This is pretty much right over you right now. And I gotta say, it looks pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's been two, at least in the last 20 to 30 minutes, two clear-cut areas of rotation. One is just east of Caledonia. The other one is, we had another flash. We'll see. Oh man.
We are taking a lot of power hits.
Yeah.
So, well, we're going to just continue. We're still on our feed here.
Okay.
But we're losing our. Oh, it's back up.
Oh man.
It's down. So, well, this is odd.
Yeah, I've never seen this.
I've seen the power go out. I haven't seen it flash this night. So.
Yeah, we're getting significant flashes.
Well, we're still on Facebook and we're still on YouTube.
Yes.
So we're going to continue tracking. Thank you, Jessica Harthorn. They're showing us, I think. So we're still.
Be careful. We don't know what's going on over here right now.
Yeah. Well, we're on Facebook and YouTube live right now.
Yep.
So
We're still on Facebook and YouTube Live.
So we're continuing our coverage. And
Okay.
we're told by NCO that they can still hear us. They just can't see us. So, right. So we're going to continue tracking
Yeah.
with our audio.
If anyone can log in on a laptop to StreamYard and make our talking box big, in theory, if anyone can still log on to StreamYard, they should be able to do that to adjust the stream. I think you can do it from any computer. We're trying to figure out.
Well, maybe we're back with graphics here. So.
We might be.
We are, Kelly? Oh, okay. Now we can see the graphics unfold.
And we're now getting a new updated tornado warning for now Calhoun County that now includes Battle Creek.
And that
So
includes eastern Kalamazoo County as well. So listen, if you are in that vicinity, so I'm glad you can see the graphics now. I don't know if you can see, yeah, so you can see the graphics now. Now you can see eastern Kalamazoo County. This includes Galesburg and Climax, and then over to Battle Creek, all the way over to Marshall, Albion. You are under tornado warning, and so you need to take cover if you're in this area. So this is, as Will is showing right now, this is eastern Kalamazoo County, northeastern Kalamazoo County.
Yep.
Charleston Township, the Target Distribution Center, Climax.
Mm-hmm.
Right around Galesburg, Level Park on the northwest side of downtown Battle Creek, over toward almost Richland along M89, and then right on down to M37 into Battle Creek. If you're in any of those areas, you should be taking cover immediately. Enfield Township, you need to be taking cover. East Leroy, you should be taking cover. This is running up and down I-94. Oh, there it is, sure enough.
There might have, yeah. We saw some debris signatures. Yeah, oh man, there were some debris signatures a little bit earlier. That was right along it. I just want to give us a look at that. Okay. So there could be a possible debris signature exiting Portage. And some of these scans are acting a little funky because of some of these power flashes, I think. But they're very well, I'm seeing a possible tornado debris signature that passed between Kalamazoo and Portage, possibly on the north side of Portage. That could have been a possible tornado that I think warranted this new tornado warning that now includes a eastern portion of Kalamazoo County and extended into Calhoun County. If we want to go check on that, we need to drive like 10 minutes south of here as when it's safe to do so. There very well could have been a tornado in Portage based on what I am seeing on radar. There is also a tornado debris signature near Barry from what I'm looking at. We have multiple little pockets of possible tornado debris. And what we're looking at is radar lofting debris. So it's kind of like a radar signature that there could be a tornado on the ground.
You scanned to the way.
Yeah.
This, look at this.
I mean, yeah, that's, and the other thing, Keith, with some of these power flashes, some of these radar scans, I don't know if they're, no, this one's new, but I don't know if we lost a few scans in between. So
well,
that
this is the Kalamazoo County line.
Yeah, Battle Creek, safe place right now.
Yeah, definitely Battle Creek, Lakeview neighborhood here.
Yep.
Definitely want to get your safe space.
That's
Watkins Road, Stone Jug Road, Avenue A,
Yep.
Avenue B, the airport. This is the Kellogg Airport. You need to be in your safe space here for sure. Because if this moves off to the east, I mean, would you say this is a pretty decent
Yep.
breeze?
They're looking at it as well. Tornado debris signature east of Galesburg, headed towards Battle Creek.
So this is it. So
Yep.
Here's Augusta. And so this is right along the line here. And so 94, this is right here along the border.
Yep.
Exit 92.
I'll switch this over just really quickly to radar.
Lakeview neighborhood, you need to be taking cover if you're in Lakeview. You're in the vicinity of Lakeview. And certainly Battle Creek, but you're in the warning intermediate. But this looks like this area along and north of I-94.
Yeah, that little hook signature right there as well, Keith.
Right. So this is going to be also just maybe around Level Park or just south of Level Park. This is going to be very near to the airport. Very near the Kellogg Airport.
Yeah.
As it moves off to the east. Tornado.
I'm just scanning really quickly for other areas. I mean, there's also a potent area of rotation still, and I'm going to get back to that possible tornado approaching, but I mean, still there's a pretty potent area of rotation. Yep, still. So that's, up in the Orangeville area of Berry County. There's still indicative rotation a little east of Caledonia, entering into portions of, it looks like southeastern Kent County, but we're going to stay on this cell.
This is the tornado.
Yeah,
This is the box.
This is
right
odd.
here. So Galesburg, you're barely in it, but Climax, you're in it. Target Distribution Center, Charleston Township, Battle Creek, you're in Lakeview neighborhood, south of I-94, the B Drive area there.
Yeah, I'm having, Keith, I think some of these radar scans are not current. So I do believe this is current.
That would be
I'm
quite a signature.
yeah. Okay. So let me just, these power flashes, I think, messed with some of our data. So bear with me. So yeah, right now, just south of Springfield, and if you're in Springfield, there's an area of rotation and possibly a tornado on the ground.
So Springfield, so the west side of Battle Creek.
Yep.
Level Park, you need to be taking cover. This is, as I mentioned earlier, around Watkins Road.
Right near the airport. I mean, we're talking, if the area of rotation is right near the airport.
So this is right open.
Yep.
Right over there.
Yeah. And that is also the area that we're seeing a possible debris signature as well. That bullseye right in the center.
Yeah. And so Hillbrady Road, this is the Lakeview neighborhood here, with Columbia, and then going right on down Helmer here to I-94.
Yeah. And I will note again, just to play this backwards, there could have possibly been, and it's hard to say, this is not until we get some verification, but I will say there was a pretty clear debris signature possibly on the northwest or northeast part of Portage, like just south of Millwood.
Right there, right, is Portage Road, so this is the Portage Road exit.
Yeah.
And
Do we have anyone headed just south of Millwood?
that would be moving right over, that would be that same debris pattern that you're seeing.
Okay. Well, we're working to send some crews, hopefully, and to confirm any sort of damage there momentarily. Okay, so we do have, Carter Landis. He needs to be looking south of the Millwood area, down Portage Road.
Right along Weeds Event Center, and then over toward Portage Road in that area.
Yeah. But this is a possible tornado again, not to be overlooked. This is right, yep. So this is downtown Battle Creek. Anyone in and around Battle Creek, you need to be sheltering in place in your tornado safe place.
I don't know if we have our Battle Creek camera, or is it all our camera?
We don't have it due to the outage.
So, but this is going right over downtown Battle Creek.
Yeah. And this is, again, going to be possibly a few seconds delayed based on, it looks like that's current. So that area of green and red matches up exactly with what we were seeing on our debris signature. Yeah, I lost a few scans with the outage, but farther north, these little areas of green and red, it's not just that either. There's also a possible area of rotation a little farther north, but that one doesn't have the debris signature that we're seeing, which is, again, indicative of a possible tornado on the ground.
So if you're on the northeast side of Battle Creek, if you're over towards Seal Ground Stadium, if you're around Penfield Township here, right, Brownlee Park here, you certainly need to be in your safe space. In the townships over here.
Yep.
Right over here we have Firekeepers Casino, so if you're in that area, you need to be taking cover, but it's right here that Will is talking about. This is where we're talking. Verona Road, and then this moves over east of Battle Creek into the township.
Mm-hmm.
You should be taking cover if you're in that area. As Will mentioned, this signature is probably a minute old, maybe 2 minutes old.
Yep. Looks like they're updating the warning, and my guess is I think they just trimmed it a little bit, Keith, but let me see what they're doing.
Yeah, it does look like, look, now that the brief signature now looks to be on the westmost edge of the updated warning.
A bit farther north too. There's still that other area of rotation. That's not far from North Avenue. We're talking north of Orchard Park near White Rabbit Road, St. Mary's Lake Road, eventually crossing M66. So that's another area. You know, anyone in this tornado warning, you need to be in your tornado safe place, because this entire line can have these quick little areas of spin, and it doesn't. There were a lot of ingredients today that we could see this sort of a setup, and so we are definitely seeing it now. And just to the southeast or southwest of downtown Battle Creek, probably right on top of Battle Creek as we speak, actually.
Already going to the Lakeview neighborhood here.
Here's an updated scan. It's a little less clear cut from just a few scans ago.
Yeah, that would be in the township. You're running just north of I-94 there. Yeah, Beetle Lake Road here, and then moving over toward the high school here south of I-94 over toward Binder.
Yeah. And let's just give a quick roundup, just so in case some folks are joining us. So we still have almost, anyone in the line of these storms is under at least a severe thunderstorm warning. Let me turn off the lightning though, because there's so much lightning that you can't even see the radar. Right now, these storms are progressing out of Kent County. So Kent County should be dropped out of the severe thunderstorm warning shortly. We still have one tornado warning that includes.
It's right here.
Yeah,
That's the one that you've been tracking, I believe, right? The one that extends down. Or is that a new?
That is not a new one. Yeah. Yep. So here.
That has 30 minutes to go, but that's the one I believe that was tracking with that debris that you were looking at coming out of Caledonia.
Yes. So that one I'm not seeing quite as much as of a radar signature of rotation, but we still have another tornado warning that includes a portion of Berry County for another few minutes, I believe, until 11:30. So at least for another few minutes. But this storm is progressing out of Berry County. And then lastly, and perhaps most concerning, at least at this exact moment, is that tornado warning that includes Battle Creek out towards Marshall, and including Albion as well. So if you're in any of those locations along 94, I-69, we want you in your tornado safe place.
I believe we have a consumer's energy power outage update. So we'll take that picture while we'll take a look at some more scans there and see how many are up to now with power outages. Again, this is coming to us from consumer's energy, and there you can see the power outage now up to now over 100,000 now without power. This is obviously a huge event.
Circulation developing just east of Saranac,
Okay.
which is, I think, that one farther north, Keith?
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah, that would be farther north. This is we're looking at the outage map here, and you can see there are pockets that are without power. Numerous now east of Plainville. So this is over for Richland, Gull Lake areas, north of Gull Lake, this is southwest of Berry County. Hastings area, especially southwest of Delton, a lot of power outages in Delton. Where you noted earlier around Martin, Will, then moving off to the east there, there's no doubt been some damage there as well. So plus 100,000 people now without power.
Okay, so here's a look at just the tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings, just to clear it up a little bit. So a portion of southern Ionia County still under a tornado warning. They did. And Kent County is now in the clear for severe weather, it looks like, because they've dropped the severe thunderstorm warning. Berry County should be in the clear shortly, but right now there's still severe thunderstorm warning. and then that includes Eaton County. You can see Kalamazoo County also in the severe thunderstorm warning, and then we have this last tornado warning that includes a good portion of Calhoun County. And
very concerning for that area north of I-94, as where the track at, going north of Marshall, right?
report of power flashes in Battle Creek. Now, Keith, I don't know if that means transformer flashes or if that means just power flashes like what we saw, because we've certainly had our fair share as well.
But it looks like, are you looking now at right along, you see that? You see the north on the north?
Yeah, I think this rotation is more concerning, just south of Bellevue. So it's kind of cycling. So that southern area that could have produced a possible tornado is now no longer looking quite as tight as far as rotation. So if we're talking like spinning like a top, right? It's not spinning. It started to kind of wobble and has kind of fizzled out. Well, now you have this other area of rotation a little farther north that's tightening up for sure. Oh, and it looks like that also coincides with a little bit of a debris signature as well. So this could also be a possible tornado just south of Bellevue.
Bellevue, you need to be in your safe space. If you're along the Calhoun, Eaton County line, this is Eaton County, M78. So if that's familiar to you, Bellevue,
Yep.
line 78 between I-69 and the border there with Berry County or Northern County, you need to get in for safe spaces, which is Thomas Township, moving north.
Yep.
Thomas Township and Bellevue.
Yep. And I believe that was 13 Mile Road that it would have been near if there is some possible debris and possibly a tornado. Passing south of Bellevue, nearing M78, and eventually crossing I-69, kind of hugging that border with Eaton County.
It's going to be south of Charlotte if it continues moving to the northeast. But Bellevue, you need to be in your safe space for sure. And in Thomas Township there near I-69, yeah, you can see that pretty plain.
Yep, this is the area of interest just south of Bellevue, and that's about as clear as it gets as far as some rotation. So that right now to me is the most concerning. There is still some rotation if I move this a little farther south, immediately east of Battle Creek, but that one has since weakened somewhat, and we also don't see the clear-cut debris signature that we once did. Now, if anything, this one a little farther north is showing some signs of just that. So
This is really sort of classic, you know, and that what we do see doesn't stick around for too long, but then it will pop back up.
yeah, the National Weather Service confirming exactly what we were just talking about a few moments ago, Keith. It sounds like a TDS, a tornado debris signature, appears to have moved right over the Battle Creek Airport. So that would be another area to send some folks.
And that would be probably the same one that moved over downtown.
Yeah, if it maintained and stayed on the ground. Yeah, I will say it was like right as it was kind of moving into downtown, it started to lose a little of that rotation, started to lose a little bit of that debris signature. But certainly, I mean, when it was approaching Springfield area, very familiar.
Just again, what Will's talking about is that right here, and it doesn't look to be as centralized as it was.
Yeah, I can play this back, what we were talking about. I mean, that was,
This, when we talked about it coming out of Kalamazoo County.
yeah. It's hard to say that, I mean, that, I'd have to look at some radar scans of velocity at the same time. But the problem is, I think this was right when our power was flashing. I'm not positive if those scans are accurate or not, but I will say that was, I mean, there was an area of possible debris noted here a little bit ago between Kalamazoo and Portage, but it's hard to verify that with my radar, whether that was.
I-94 here, so this would be right over, let's say, Oakland Drive, and then over Westnedge and over Portage Road.
And it looks like the debris signature has weakened somewhat, just south of Bellevue in the latest scan, so that's a good sign there. But there is still some radar indicated rotation. And in the latest scan, it looks like it's, I don't think the radar, the velocity scan has updated just yet.
But that is for the tornado warning that covers Calhoun County. There you can see the polygon there runs along the Calhoun, Eaton Calhoun, and Berry County line, and then extends all the way down to Albion and south of M60, or along M60 there.
And
Marshall south along I-69 as well. That's one tornado warning.
there was also confirmed report of a funnel cloud at the very least about 5 minutes ago, just southwest of Bellevue. So that's exactly where we were just talking about.
And that signature still does sort of show up.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. And as you move north.
Yeah. Still areas of interest that we have to, I mean, all of Eaton County is under a tornado warning right now. Pretty rare that you see that for just this whole line because of, as we've been seeing, these are so quick to just kind of materialize, these little areas of rotation. They're there for a scan or two. You might even, as we've seen so far this evening, see a debris signature associated with them. And then another scan later, and they've weakened, which, is pretty telltale of what style of tornadoes we were talking about, these kind of embedded tornadoes within a line. Do we have any crews that are seeing damage or anything? Kate's going to get some information off camera, but anyone within the leading edge of this storm is going to be seeing some not only intense wind, but also just the potential for these spin up and isolated tornadoes. So you can see up towards southern Ionia County, all of Eaton County included in a tornado warning, and then also this large portion of Calhoun County, including Battle Creek, Marshall, and Albion. Although I will say, if you are in Battle Creek proper, downtown Battle Creek, the storm is passing farther east. You're still in the threat of a lot of cloud to ground lightning, heavy rain. Here's an updated scan, and you can kind of see that wind surging farther east. Let me switch over to a slightly different velocity scan. And still an area of interest south of Walton and just south of I-69, hugging that Eaton and Calhoun County line. Partello, are you familiar with Partello, Brookfield? Those are areas of interest for me, for some folks that definitely need to be in their safe place right now. And then also up towards Charlotte. Look, this looks like it's kind of cycling a little farther north.
I would say you talked about how odd it is for the entire county
Yeah.
to be under tornado warning. However, there are 2 and maybe 3 areas of concern along this line.
Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting how we've seen it almost build farther north, where there's been just different areas of rotation, almost like in a wave. In a way, Keith, like we've seen this area, and then another one will form a little farther, and there's almost this wave feature to the leading edge. That's,
If you move north, I think there might even be, no, maybe not.
yeah, this one is weakened considerably. Some of the strongest winds are now going to be right in the Portland area of Ionia County. Those bright oranges and reds, definitely some intense wind. There's also still some strong winds. Nonetheless, even if there's tornado or no tornado approaching Charlotte, there's going to be some very strong wind. And then also crossing I-69 and through Calhoun County. The gust front is going to hit Marshall here pretty soon. Still the potential, as was indicated by the severe thunderstorm warning, of 60+ mile/hour winds, which is certainly still enough to cause some scattered outages and do some damage. So, for nothing else, take that seriously. But certainly this tornado warning, if you are in it, we just want you taking it extra safe and in your tornado safe place.
Hopefully, let's see, that warning there goes until 11:45, but it's probably, as it continues to move, it looks like it's pretty much, like you said, hugging the Calhoun-Eaton County line, but maybe drifting just a little bit to the north of it.
Yeah, the National Weather Service eyeing Olivet area and also Charlotte for tornado threats, which is exactly what we were just kind of looking at.
2 areas.
Yep.
2 areas there.
Yeah. So
I believe, is there anything out for Kalamazoo County? I believe Kalamazoo County is pretty much out of the way.
yeah, we can do a quick roundup here and kind of see. Do you guys want to look at the stream?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if there was a way on StreamYard to make our feed a little bit bigger, but
Yeah, and so here's what we're looking at. I'll come to the screen here and show you. Again, we still have some intense lightning with these storms that are moving off to the east, but as Will mentioned here, notice now, this is US 131. So everybody, for the most part, along the east of US 131, one caveat there, I would say, and that goes down into 3 Rivers and over into southeastern Cass County. But pretty much everybody here along, and certainly west of US 131, you're out of the woods. We're getting out of the woods just east of US 131, but we still have these warnings as you work your way to the east. Looks like Kalamazoo County continues to be under severe thunderstorm warning. We just have this sort of triangle right now that goes over a portion of northern St. Joe County, much of eastern Cass County, including Three Rivers, where you have a severe thunderstorm warning. Sturgis, you're okay. Branch County, you're okay. Coldwater, you're okay. Calhoun County goes severe thunderstorm warning, and as
It has to be
noted,
streamer.
right around now, east of Battle Creek. Looks like Battle Creek you're okay now, but certainly over toward I-69 and I-94, but also north,
Can they just start a
particularly
stream of
now
our
in
on-air feed?
southern
That's
Eaton County.
definitely
That's Bellevue.
Yeah.
That's where I think that we could be looking at some of that rotation that's still going on. So it looks like at least 3 active tornado warnings continuing. One for Calhoun County here, one that is easternmost Berry County, but then also Cleveland County right now really under the gun, and then also southern Ionia County. But as these storms continue to move off the east, and I got to say, this is pretty much the speed, the motion, the movement is what the forecast models have been suggesting for a while, which should take everything out of here in the next hour or so at the most.
Okay. So I'm gonna just for folks that are streaming on Facebook and YouTube, we're gonna pause the stream temporarily. Our web folks are gonna pull the stream back in, but it's gonna be our clean over the air feed. So for those of us that are streaming on Facebook and YouTube, there will be a temporary pause, but we're gonna bring back a stream that's gonna be a cleaner feed so you can see the radar. We lost that ability when our outage happened. So that'll help for visual, but we are on the air obviously as well.
So the